I'm Jaclyn Johnson.
And I'm Marina Middleton.
And this is WorkParty, a podcast that's part work and part party. WorkParty celebrates a new generation of women who are redefining the meaning of work on their own terms and having fun while doing it.
In this podcast, we are diving into all the areas of being a working woman: mind, body, and business. No topic is off limit.
Real talk and hot takes. Think of us as your internet work wives. This is WorkParty,
the podcast.
Wait, where's the champagne? Hey everyone, welcome back to WorkParty. Today we're getting into one of the trickiest, scariest, but honestly most important parts of work: negotiation, asking for a raise or a promotion. Here's the thing, women are still getting paid less than men. I think we kind of stopped talking about that, but on average, we're earning about 83 cents for every dollar men make, which is over $11,000 less every year, which is significant. That's not pocket change, that's vacations, that's rent, that's your kid's school. And what makes it worse, studies show women are way less likely to ask for more money compared to men. So let's change that. Today, we're breaking down how to figure out what you should be making, how to actually build your case to ask for a raise, when's the right time to speak up, very important, and what to say if you get a no. By the end of the episode, you're gonna have an actual script you can use so you don't have to wing it in the moment.
I love that. This is obviously something that we have talked about a lot. Outside of that stat that you shared for the 83 cents, it's also interesting. Women will apply, I'm going to butcher this, but men will apply for a job even if they're not 100% qualified. I think they say like they're like 40% qualified for the role, where women will wait until they're 100% qualified for the role to apply for the job, which is so insane. That being said, I think that a few things when you're thinking through asking for a raise, all of that stuff, it starts before you get the job. It is not, I don't believe that it starts right when you're in the role and all of a sudden you start asking for a raise. When you're applying for the job, you should understand what is the pay range for this role in this department.
And by location. I think that's a big one too, because I think it was interesting for a while. There was this like transparent pay moment. And we actually at Create Cultivate started a database, an anonymous database. You could put in your title, location, and salary. And I think we had like 1,000 people do it. It was crazy. But what was so fascinating was the ranges from location. So if you're in New York and I'm a VP of whatever, that salary was very different than a VP in Missouri. And so this title, location, and obviously job is so important, but now there's so many amazing resources.
Yeah, and I think like the resources obviously are so valuable in understanding like what is that range. I personally do hate Glassdoor, and I think that like, no, seriously, I hate Glassdoor. And
trust me, I hate Glassdoor.
Yeah, no, Glassdoor is crazy, but I'll tell you why. And I think that sometimes communication, the most important thing when you are asking for a raise before you're asking for a raise is understanding, one, your company, again, the range, where you live, what your employer is able to do within that jobs and roles and responsibilities. I think where sometimes the like LinkedIn salary levels, FYI, all of that stuff, where it gets clunky is it is so based off of the roles and responsibilities of that person, right? Like a salesperson might do so much more for like one company than the other, you know? So I think it's just so different.
100%. Another thing that's really important besides knowing your market value is building your case. It's not just like TikTok, it's been a year, it's time for me to go in and ask for my raise. You really have to come in with metrics to back it up. So sometimes we're so busy, you don't have time, but along the way, when you're building your career, you need to like make sure you're marking those milestones. I was able to increase this by X amount. I was able to book this person by this date. I was able to secure this, partnership that we've been wanting for a while. I've been able to grow our social community. Whatever it is, come in with the data.
100%. At Yahoo, they used to tell you like you need to be loud about your wins because a lot of the times, most of the time, your manager don't know it.
Yeah.
I do think it's also
they don't know it.
Yeah, they really don't. No, seriously. And I think that it is really important also to understand like where you can improve as well. And then the other thing I was going to say is understanding when you can have those conversations. Is it on a quarterly basis? Are promotions happening on an annual basis? Like knowing that from the beginning.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies typically will do raises annually or promotions annually, but sometimes there's opportunity to, spot bonus or things like that.
Yeah, there's a quote that says, when you ask for a raise, you need to anchor your request in the market and not just in feelings, which is so valid. And it is hard to not go into meetings being like, hey, I feel like I need to be making more. No, it's like, here's what I've done.
Yeah.
Here's where my role sits in the market.
Yeah. Market's also really good because and this is good for freelancers as well, I should say. So if you're pitching a client and they're like, hey, our retainer is $10,000 a month, and they're like, we can only pay $7,000. It's like, well, actually, this is market for the services we're providing. We're happy to reduce the amount of services and reduce the cost, but that is market rate for what that is.
Yeah. Okay. So framework: problem, action, result. You figure out what you want to be at. You understand what your results are, and then you approach your manager.
Yeah.
And you want to understand kind of, again, the opportunity for growth. So let's talk about if you get pushback.
Yes, which you probably will. I think it's really about everything is a negotiation. Everything is negotiable. So I think at the end of the day, if you get a no or we don't have the budget, not right now, I personally, because that's also very real too. If you're a small business, you genuinely might not have it built into the budget of what you're trying to do. Just saying, hey, okay, I understand that. What I'd like to get to in the next 3 months, 6 months, etc., is this place. Is that something we can get to together if I hit these goals? And really creating a conversation around it versus closing a door.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And as someone that obviously goes through hiring and promotions and all of that stuff, for us at Create and Cultivate, and I think for any business owner, making sure that there's clear structure. We do not talk about raises until it's annual. We don't give raises. Sorry, we can talk about it, but it's annual. Yeah, don't talk to me. No, we do annual promotions and raises. There are clear KPIs. So if you don't know your KPIs, ask for it. It is so important to make sure that there's structure so you know what you're measuring for. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And the reality is if you don't ask, you'll never get it. My friend Bobby, who runs the hundreds, was telling me he had a female employee who was the best employee. He's like, she was amazing, so good. Every week he's like, these guys come to my office, Bobby, I need more money, man. I need more money. I got this, I got that, whatever. And he's like, and she would never ask. And it's like, finally he's like, I'm giving you a promotion, but I'm like, you don't want to get to that point. Broke mouths don't get fed. But I was going to say, you really have to be the squeaky wheel in that situation. And again, worst case scenario is no. And then you put together a plan to get there.
Yeah. I think the other thing, just one last thing I want to talk about that is kind of how to approach it again, just clear on the script. So first, understand before you say yes to the role, where the growth opportunities are. Can you continue growing? Is there leadership positions? And understanding where you want to go. That's one. 2, making sure that that's a conversation that you're having with your manager. Do they know where you see yourself? Is it, again, do you want to eventually manage people? Do you like this? Maybe there's a path where you're like, I'm in marketing and I really love sales. Can I start talking through that, understanding that? Asking for feedback on growth opportunities. Where can I improve? What is lacking? I think that's the hardest thing, that men and women receiving constructive criticism, but also managers need to do a better job at giving those growth opportunities and what you can fix. And then putting together your wins. Keeping track of your wins is so important. Also for your confidence level, just so you can go in there being like, oh, it's not actually how I feel. It's I've actually done this, and you guys need me, and there's so much value there. That's so important. And then again, of course, understanding the market. Where is your role sitting? How large are those companies? What are the roles and responsibilities? Understanding what more you can add, and being prepared for a yes, great, but also being prepared for a no, to say, okay, what is my plan to get there?
I love that so much. And I also think just starting today, we're going to give you guys some homework, but go on to ChatGPT and start putting in your wins. Tell them your role, your salary, all of the things. And then it'll be so much easier when that time comes to be like, hey, create a script for me to go into this meeting and succeed. I think that would be such a great way to kind of do it and maximize your time as well. And it's not about being pushy. It's about making sure you're being properly compensated for the value that you bring.
Love that.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Work Party. If you like what you heard, follow, leave a review, rate the pod, or slide into our DMs.
Check out the different ways you can create and cultivate on our website, createcultivate.com. From retreats and masterminds to our summits and festival.
We have different experiences to support you through your entrepreneurial journey from launch
to legacy.
Follow us at Create Cultivate on all platforms, and don't forget, work hard.
Party on.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.